While the world watches the front lines in Bakhmut and the naval skirmishes in the Strait of Hormuz, the real casualty of 2026 is sitting on a dinner plate in Accra. We are currently witnessing a perfect storm. It is a pincer movement of global conflict. On one side, the Russian-Ukraine war, now a 4-year-long grind, has effectively turned the Black Sea into a graveyard for commercial shipping. On the other, the sudden, violent escalation between the US and Iran has placed a chokehold on 20% of the world's oil supply. This isn't just foreign news anymore. This is the reason your transport fares just jumped again. This is why the bag of fertilizer that cost 200 Cedis a few years ago is now a luxury item. Today, we are tracing the shrapnel from these two wars as it travels thousands of miles to hit the economies of West Africa. This is the global domino effect. To understand why Ghana is paying for a war in Europe, you have to understand the choke point theory. In 2026, global trade relies on 3 main doors. Right now, 2 of those doors are being slammed shut. Door number 1, the Bosphorus and the Black Sea. This is where Russia and Ukraine ship 30% of the world's wheat and a massive portion of the world's potash, the gold used in fertilizer. When Russia mines these waters or the West increases sanctions, the flow of food to the port of Tema doesn't just slow down. It becomes prohibitively expensive. Door number 2, the Strait of Hormuz. With the US and Iran now in a direct kinetic exchange, this narrow strip of water is the world's most dangerous parking lot. If Iran closes this strait, global oil prices don't just rise, they double overnight. For a country like Ghana, which is fighting to stabilize the Cedi after years of debt restructuring, a $120 barrel of oil is an economic landmine. Why is West Africa specifically vulnerable? Because our growth is built on imported stability. We import our fuel, we import our machinery, and we import the chemicals needed to grow our own food. We are caught in a crossfire between a bread war in the north and an oil war in the east. In this special documentary, we're going deep. We'll look at the secret trade routes being used to get Russian grain into Africa, the hidden cost of the US-Iran naval war on your local electricity bill, and finally, the silver lining, how this crisis might finally force West Africa to stop relying on the outside world and start building its own industrial backbone. The bullets are firing there, but the bank accounts are bleeding here. Let's get into the details. Let's look at the first domino, the breadbasket of Europe. We are now 4 years into a conflict that has rewritten the rules of the global food market. As of March 2026, the Black Sea is essentially a militarized lake. Russia's blockade tactics have shifted from simple naval presence to digital denial, using electronic warfare to scramble the GPS of any grain freighter attempting to leave Ukrainian ports without their stamp of approval. Why does this keep you awake in Ghana? Because your soil is addicted to Russian inputs. Currently, over 30% of the fertilizer used in West African cocoa and maize farms comes from Russia. With shipping insurance rates at an all-time high and the port of Tema seeing fewer and fewer direct arrivals from the Black Sea, the cost of input has become the biggest threat to the Ghanaian farmer. When the cost of fertilizer goes up, the yield goes down. When the yield goes down, the price of a ball of kenki or a bag of rice at the local market isn't just a reflection of local inflation, it's a direct reflection of a missile strike on an Odessa warehouse. We aren't just importing grain, we are importing the war's volatility directly into our stomachs. But while we look north for our food, we have to look east for our power. The escalation between the US and Iran has moved from proxy conflict to direct engagement. This month, the Strait of Hormuz, the world's most vital oil artery, became a combat zone. Ghana produces oil, yes. But here is the catch: we don't refine enough of it. We export crude and import the refined petrol and diesel we use to move our tro-tros in trucks. When the US-Iran war pushes global crude toward $120 a barrel, the subsidy system in Ghana groans under the weight. Every time a tanker is harassed in the Persian Gulf, the price at the pump in Kumasi reacts. It's an immediate, painful link between Middle Eastern geopolitics and West African transport fares. So, what happens when you combine expensive food with expensive fuel? You get a currency crisis. Investors see global instability and they run back to the US dollar. This devalues the Cedi, making those already expensive imports even pricier. It is a pincer movement designed to crush the middle class. However, there is a path forward. The 2026 crisis is proving that the old way, depending on distant superpowers for our basic survival, is a suicide mission. We are seeing a renewed push for the African Continental Free Trade Area. We are seeing farmers in the Volta Region experimenting with organic local fertilizers to break the Russian habit. The question is, will we innovate fast enough? The world is changing, and the maps are being redrawn in blood. But understanding these connections is the first step toward building our own resilience. If we want a Ghana that isn't shaken every time a drone flies over Kiev or Tehran, we have to start demanding local solutions for global problems. I want to hear from you. Have you noticed the change in your local market prices this month? Are you seeing more local alternatives on the shelves, or are the import costs making life unbearable? Drop a comment below and let's get the conversation started. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit that like button and subscribe. If the war in Ukraine is a slow-motion car crash for our food security, the escalation between the United States and Iran is a lightning strike to our power grid. We are now seeing the most direct military engagement in the Persian Gulf in 40 years. This isn't just a regional spat, it is a battle for the jugular of the global economy, the Strait of Hormuz. To put this in perspective, imagine a pipe that supplies 20% of the world's liquid petroleum. Now imagine that pipe passes through a gap only 21 miles wide. That is the strait. As of March 2026, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard has deployed swarm, drone tactics and smart mines across these waters, while the US Fifth Fleet has moved to a constant strike footing. One miscalculation, one sunken tanker, and the global price of oil doesn't just rise, it goes vertical. Now, let's bring this home to West Africa. You might ask, doesn't Ghana produce its own oil? We have the Jubilee and 10 fields. Why should we care if a tanker is hit off the coast of Iran? Here is the hard, cold reality of our energy infrastructure. We are an export raw, import refined economy. We pump crude oil out of our waters, sell it on the global market, and then we turn around and buy back the petrol and diesel we actually need to run our tro-tros, our delivery trucks, and our generators. when the US-Iran conflict pushes global crude toward $120 or $150 a barrel. The cost of that refined fuel we import skyrockets. In Accra, the National Petroleum Authority is forced into a corner. Do they pass that cost directly to the driver at the pump, or does the government swallow the debt to keep prices stable? In 2026, with the Cedi already fighting for its life against a dominant US dollar, there is no good choice. High fuel prices are the ultimate tax on the poor. They make the bread more expensive to transport, the lights more expensive to keep on, and the cost of doing business nearly impossible. But there's a deeper layer to this energy war. It's the shift in global alliances. As the US pours resources into the Middle East to counter Iran, they are pulling back from other regions. This creates a power vacuum that Russia and China are eager to fill. We are seeing a new scramble for Africa where energy deals are being used as diplomatic bait. Are we being offered cheaper Russian oil in exchange for political loyalty? Are we being forced to choose between Western security and Eastern energy? The Strait of Hormuz isn't just a waterway, it's a lever that is shifting the very ground we stand on in West Africa. Now we come to the most dangerous part of the story. If the wars in Ukraine and Iran are the hammer, then the global financial system is the anvil, and West African economies are caught right in the middle. We call this the economic pincer. It's a two-sided squeeze that is systematically draining the value of the money in your pocket. On one side of the pincer, we have imported inflation. Because Ghana and its neighbors are so dependent on foreign grain and foreign fuel, we are essentially importing the war. When a missile hits a silo in Ukraine, the price of bread in Accra goes up. When a drone strikes a refinery in Iran, the price of a tro-tro ride goes up. You aren't just paying for the goods, you are paying a war tax that you never voted for. On the other side of the pincer is the currency collapse. In times of global war, big investors get scared. They pull their money out of emerging markets like Ghana and Nigeria and hide it in the safe haven of the US dollar. This creates a massive surge in demand for dollars, causing the Cedi to tumble. As of March 2026, the Cedi is facing its toughest test yet. Every time our currency drops, the cost of our national debt, which is mostly held in dollars, explodes. We are forced to spend more of our national budget just paying interest, leaving less for schools, hospitals, and the very infrastructure that could help us become independent. We've seen this play out with the IMF. Ghana's recent $3 billion bailout was supposed to be a lifeline, but these global wars are moving the goalposts. The IMF requirements for fiscal discipline often mean cutting the very subsidies that protect the most vulnerable from these rising costs. It's a brutal cycle. We borrow to survive the crisis, but the interest on that borrowing becomes the next crisis. But here is the silver lining, or at least, the wake-up call. This pincer is forcing a conversation that should have happened decades ago. We are seeing a new Pan-Africanism driven by necessity. If we can't get fertilizer from Russia, we have to build our own plants. If we can't afford imported rice, we have to scale up the valleys of the Volta Region. The 2026 crisis is a painful lesson that globalization is a double-edged sword, that if you don't produce what you consume, you are a hostage to someone else's war. The maps are being redrawn in Moscow, Tehran, and Washington, but the consequences are being felt in every household across West Africa. We are living through a historic shift in how the world works, and being informed is your only defense. I want to hear your perspective. In this economic pincer, which side is hitting you harder? Is it the price of food at the market, or the cost of transport and electricity? Are you seeing any local businesses successfully switching to Ghanaian-made products to survive? Drop a comment below. Your stories help us track the real economy that the official stats often miss. Host, if this deep dive helped you connect the dots between the news headlines and your bank account, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps us reach more people across the continent. Subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our next report, where we'll look at the new Cold War for Africa's minerals. Stay smart, stay prepared, and keep building. I'll see you in the next one.